Sexual assault can take many different forms and be defined in different ways. But one thing's for sure, it's never the victim's fault. Coach Curtis Fry not only has an impressive career, but he also impacts those around him. Former athletes from all over return back to track meets just to show their support and gratitude towards their father-like figure. Unlike a lot of Senate bills that don't go anywhere, Bill 516 has bipartisanship. Republicans and Democrats working together in the Senate to find a common solution for their constituents. Today, the weather is beautiful. We are finally getting that lovely spring weather we have been waiting for. It is currently about 82 degrees outside, the perfect weather for a nice walk on the river walk or maybe some happy hour drinks on the patio. You can also look forward to some nice weather on your Easter Sunday. I'll fill you in on this week's warm weather temperatures and some potential rain showers later on in the show. As the process continues to move forward towards changing the Carolina Coliseum into a new student union here at the University of South Carolina, Ross Lordo says he envisions that the new student union should be up and running by no later than 2026.
There you go, Matt!
He's one of the most well-respected track and field coaches in the country. He's been at the University of South Carolina for over 20 years. He's head coach Curtis Fry.
South Carolina gave me an opportunity.
An opportunity he made the most of.
Coach Fry has been very successful throughout his career. He won the first national championship in the history of the institution.
And that's not all. He's been a coach in both the 2004 and 2016 Olympics.
Anytime the U.S. is called, I've been a yes.
In 2004, he served as the assistant coach for the USA Olympic women's track team. And in the 2016 Rio Olympics, he was an assistant coach for sprints and hurdles to the USA national team.
And I guess I'm an OG. So they said, we want to put your name in. I said, I'm not going to select it because normally what happens, if you are on the women's staff, you don't get a chance. The men's staff never select coaches off of the women's staff, and the women never select coaches off of the men's staff. So I was asked to do that, so I became a first person that did both.
Coach Curtis Fry not only has an impressive career, but he also impacts those around him. Former athletes from all over return back to track meets just to show their support and gratitude towards their father-like figure. Former South Carolina athlete Adrian Durant, who is now Cornell University's head track and field coach, says he's found success using what he's learned from Curtis Fry in his coaching career.
I actually use one of his sayings, if it's to be, it's up to me.
Not only does Coach Fry inspire his athletes, but he says they inspire him too.
How do they inspire me? When 200 of them come back to the SEC championship, and we don't finish, and they know we're going to finish number 11 and number 9, but 200 come to the facility and walk in the rain, and all of them had college degrees. I'm inspired.
And when asked what keeps him going after 20 years at South Carolina,
my daddy's always taught us, if you start something, finish it, don't quit. And then my mother said that you're not hired, God places you.
Curtis Fry says he'll be coaching at the university as long as they let him, and he's loving every moment of it.
Pass! There you go, man. There you go.
Carolina News, Alyssa Butterson. A fired up and ready crowd at the State House heard calls to close the so-called Charleston loophole for gun purchases. The Charleston loophole is technically called a delayed denial, but became more commonly known as the Charleston loophole from the 2015 shooting at Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston. Current law in South Carolina allows dealers to sell firearms without a completed background check if it takes the National Instant Criminal Background Check System more than 3 days to process the application.
First line of defense, I think, for gun safety is the FBI's NICS database.
A database of individuals who are by law prohibited from purchasing guns.
About 8% are either denied because they have a criminal record or something else that prohibits them.
There is a loophole that allowed the Charleston shooter to obtain his gun.
And this bill would not have kept Dylan Roof from getting a gun because that was a clerical error. But it would keep a lot of, I think, Dillon Roof type people from being able to get a gun.
This bill being S516.
A reporting bill that would bring uniformity and consistency to the way we report the disposition of crimes and criminal activity related to guns.
This bill would mandate that gun dealers in South Carolina would wait at least 5 days before transferring a firearm in the case of a background check. In addition, the bill would mandate court clerks across the state to notify law enforcement of restraining or protective orders and domestic violence convictions within 10 days. Currently,
it's a 30-day period.
It would also set a 48-hour time frame to report any court actions involving gun restrictions, which do not currently have a time limit. Unlike a lot of Senate bills that don't go anywhere, Bill 516 has bipartisanship. Republicans and Democrats working together in the Senate to find a common solution for their constituents. A group called Moms Demand Action has been supportive of 516 from the start.
Of course, if you're going to do a background check, you want it to be effective. And so this bill helps to strengthen that for South Carolinians.
Despite the impetus to do something, time is short in a legislative session that ends by May. Otherwise,
the process would have to start over in the House.
So time is of the essence for Bill 516.
It's a simple bill. It improves the state's reporting of the disposition of crimes related to guns. Who wouldn't be for that?
Both senators will continue to move forward with the bill and say that the support from constituents is what they need to advance the agenda. Carolina News, I'm Alyssa Butterson. Men, women, children, and even police officers gathered in front of the South Carolina State House for the Walk a Mile in Their Shoes event to support sexual trauma services of the Midlands.
It's one of our largest crowds yet. It's the 9th year of the event, and we've raised more than $90,000.
It's a fun and silly event that brings people together to talk about a serious issue: sexual violence.
We ask that the guys come and rent a pair of stilettos or borrow a pair of shoes from a lady in their life and wear the shoes to walk a mile. It's really about raising awareness about what survivors experience and also about fundraising so that our services can continue to be given to our survivors at no cost to them.
Though many survivors did not wish to speak on their experiences, some of them did write on the Why I Walk wall to display reasons on why they participate in the event.
It doesn't end with the crime. It doesn't end when law enforcement makes an arrest. It's something they live with for their life. And I think this is a good way for us as law enforcement or community members to come out and walk and say that we understand it's a long road and that it's not an easy one, but we're here for you. We want to be with you as you go through that process.
Sexual assault can take many different forms and be defined in different ways. But one thing's for sure, it's never the victim's fault.
If you're a survivor and you haven't gotten help, I want you to know that Sexual Trauma Services is here for you whenever you're ready.
And to any guys interested in participating in next year's event.
So these are a size 12. They're from City Trends. They were about $14, which they're kind of cheap, but they've lasted me 4 years and 4 miles, and I definitely recommend them.
So grab a pair of heels and walk a mile in their shoes. Carolina News, Alyssa Butterson. Hello, welcome to Carolina News. I'm Alyssa Butterson. Good afternoon, thanks for joining us. I'm Alyssa Butterson. Good afternoon, thanks for joining us. I'm Alyssa Butterson. A press conference was held this morning to address underage drinking in the state. 5 Points is a popular destination for many students and families in the area, but the downtown scene hasn't always been the safest. Today at the State House, Governor Henry McMaster signed legislation into law that would expand the state's 4K programs for low-income children throughout the state. A car chase in Richland County ended when the driver crashed into a front porch of a home on Welch Road and Solomon Street. Duval is looking to increase prices of extended hour permits, making it more difficult for bars to purchase them. City councils will continue to debate the steps that need to be taken, and a public hearing will be held. The man accused of kidnapping a 4-year-old Johns Island girl and assaulting her mother is now facing 7 charges from the state. Welcome back to Carolina News. If you're looking for a unique experience this Easter weekend, you might want to check out this unusual ranch. Reporter Maria Teles has more.